All right, folks, here it is. I have got for you today in Watcher of Realms the official developer roadmap for 2026. So this is pretty interesting this time around. Instead of doing a big call, like a Zoom call with me and maybe 2 or 3 other creators, they chose to do like a virtual interview where we were asking questions back and forth privately in DMs, and they sent us their official slide deck to present. That is what I will do today. I do want to apologize right out of the gate. I'm definitely going to be a day or two later getting my submission to the devs just because there's been a lot of real stuff going on lately in my life. Nothing bad, positive stuff, but I just haven't been as on top of these drafts as I wanted to be. So certainly my video is going to come out a little later than some of the other content creators you might like, but here you go, the official 2026 roadmap.
Fastidious.
Fastidious.
They are theming this Beyond Taya. A new era begins. So if you don't know, Taya is like the world, the area in the game that we are familiar with. Let's go to the first slide. And here they're already telling us that in the second half of 2026, we are going to get Sandbox-like gameplay. And right off the bat, I'm going to make myself teeny tiny and just put myself in this corner because I don't want to ever, be in your way of the text. So do you want to dive into untold adventures on a brand spanking new continent? They sound like me there, brand spanking new. Craving gameplay with totally unique mechanics and vibes? Ready to take on all new bosses that'll test your skills? This sandbox-style gameplay delivers it all. I'm going to be honest, I'm not very familiar with what sandbox-style gameplay means, so I asked the devs and they did answer. At first, I thought this was going to be something like that world in Dracula's Castle, if you remember that event where we were like controlling Vlad Dracula and walking around and exploring. That is not what this is going to be, but I have very good news. If you loved that content like I did, we are getting that, and I'll discuss it in a very short bit. However, with this sandbox-like gameplay, what they're saying is it's going to be closer to like a DLC-style gameplay. It's going to feature more open route choices and a greater variety of events. And there's going to be a very strong emphasis on strategy. So that was their answer. A little vague. I still can't really picture it, but it sounds new. It sounds fresh. I'm sure there's going to be tons of rewards. I'm very intrigued by it. I think one thing Watcher of Realms does very well compared to other games is it doesn't demand nearly as much of your active time. There's so many good background battling features and auto features and stuff like that, that if they do introduce something that's wholly new, and requires entirely fresh strategy, we can have all that other stuff running in the background and focus on this so we don't feel like we're falling behind in our traditional gameplay. I think that's pretty cool. Next up, I told you it was coming. We're getting that open world, and this is going to be that Dracula's Castle style gameplay. They're bringing a massive open world map with new epic lore, tons of random encounters and quests, and deep character progression, all blending to craft a constantly evolving world that stays fresh, thrilling, and full of surprises. So I'm going to pull up a video right now that we can watch together. Give me one moment. All right, let's hit that. Basically just a little teaser, but it's nice. You see, we're leaving Taya, right? We're going to be watering and finding a new place. Really just a teaser, but a brand new world does await, and that is pretty fun here in Watcher of Realms. Let's pop our presentation back open. One thing I want to focus on, I really think one of the biggest hits of all of 2025, sincerely the entire year, and certainly, in my opinion, the biggest hit of the Dracula collab was that Dracula's Castle open world gameplay with Vlad Dracula. I thought it was fresh. I thought it was new. And I honestly think the best part was we were all getting the same kind of chances at the same heroes. So it didn't come down to, what level's your hero, what awakening, how skilled up is it, how well did you gear them? It was like, how well can you use the tools in this game, the heroes, to engage with the core puzzles in the game, which obviously is tower defense content. That's how I fell in love with the game, going through the campaign when I first downloaded it. I think that probably was the case with many of you. So the fact that they're going all in on this is really exciting. They are saying the second half of 2026 here. Though in my talks with them, I had a separate call with them last night. I do think we're getting something similar a little bit sooner, but obviously I cannot guarantee that. Next up, and this is really crazy, this is really exciting. Some of you might not realize exactly how exciting this is. We are getting a new faction, not a new class like the Tacticians, which was awesome. We're getting a new faction. And we have not gotten a new faction since the introduction of the Supreme Arbiters and the Chaos Order it was either October or November 2023. So it's been over 2 years since we got a new faction. Outside of those two ancient exclusive factions, for the most part, there's a couple units, Cerberus, Constance, Valkyria, Valeria, that are in those and not ancient exclusive, but basically those are the ancient factions. We've never gotten a new normal faction. And this is great, right? I mean, look at this. There's going to be a full map pursuit mechanic. So I'm thinking units like Idril or Lady Alex that can kind of hit everywhere. These are units with ultra-long, unlimited attack range. This mechanic is going to excel by offering a unique edge in spread-out positioning scenarios. So, different ways you can think about placing your units and deploying them. It's going to keep your team effective even when you've got them scattered about. And then finally, I love this. Features a new legendary lord. That's obviously fun. But then a new epic lord. So they're not going to skimp on this. Kind of how I feel like they've skimped on fleshing out the tacticians. Every new tactician's a legendary. You need epics, you need rares. I believe games should be built, at least to some extent, a pyramid. You've got the lower rarities, and they're functional, but they're not very good. Then you've got the epic rarities, where they're functional, and some of them are very good, but maybe they're not as broadly powerful as the legendaries. And then you've got the legendaries on top. But it should be like a lot, some less. And it's kind of like a pyramid, right? This game is an inverted pyramid. We have so many legendaries, we have some epics, and we've got like no relevant rares at all, basically. Very, very, very few. So it's cool that they're definitely launching with an epic lord as well. This faction sounds pretty exciting. You might be thinking of this as like, oh, that's more of a role than a faction. But if you think of a lot of factions, not every faction, but a lot of factions, they kind of do have like a thing. If we look at the Supreme Arbiters, they've got a lot of true damage and the Radiant Erosion. If we look at the Chaos Order, they've got a lot of, benefits from being low health. That's like a theme among the faction. And then obviously, if we look at the normal factions, the original factions, the cultists, those guys are like summoners and they're crowd control units, they're AoE magic DPS. So this is going to have its own thing. They're going to be these long-ranged units. It should be really nice. We've got some concept art as well. I am so excited about this. We didn't get a date. You can see these say like ETA H2 2026. This doesn't. I'm hopeful it's going to be sooner rather than later. Up now, we've got IP collaborations. They're expecting these in the second half of 2026. I can tell you for a fact we are getting something sooner than that. I can't tell you how I know, but let's just say I have it on very good authority from some secret sources. We're definitely getting something sooner than that, and it is not going to be like a Dracula IP where it's like, a classic old story that's kind of in the public domain. It is going to be a proper piece of IP, maybe even some kind of video game IP. If you have any guesses, let me know. I'm not going to say more than that. I also know they're considering multiple things. So it might not just be one IP collaboration. There might be a couple things coming. That I cannot guarantee, but I know stuff is cooking. Let's go now to Arena. This could be amazing or they could blow it. Let's just get that out of the way. This could be phenomenal or they could absolutely blow it. This is something I have talked about in so many videos on so many streams. I don't know if I ever made a whole dedicated video about it, but I think fundamentally the problem with Arena, it comes down to two things. I guess it comes down to one thing that stems from two things. Let's think of it that way. The one thing is the most stale meta in any Arena, any PvP mode I've ever played. Each mode, we have the 3 modes, anti-air, single target, AoE. They all have basically their main team and like the main other team, at least when you're on the higher levels. That's it. That is it. And so many of those teams share the same unit, like Ireless and Diao Chan and Valara, those kind of units. Praetus lording over so many of those comps. It's just stale, right? It's so stale. Now, why is it stale? That's where it comes down to two things. One is the maps. They should mix up the maps all the time, in my opinion. So at least for the first few days of a new map, if not longer, hopefully longer, we all have to figure out how to engage with the new map, how to figure out our deployments, and maybe what new strategies we need to do in terms of timings, maybe new hero choices, so on and so on. That does not get mixed up enough. I think that should happen at least every month, if not every 2 weeks. The other thing, and that's kind of what we're going to talk about here, the best units are just the best, so they're always the best. There's no reason not to use Diao Chan and Ireless. There's no reason not to use Valara where it's relevant, or you have Praetus as your lord and so on, Sithra for a lot of content. It doesn't matter. Like there's nothing holding you back. A lot of games will have stuff where it's like, this week, cultists get plus 20% damage, and esotericists get minus 20% damage. And this week, plus 25% rage regen time for arbiters and minus 25% rage regen time for chaos. That would be such a good step in the right direction, and I think that's kind of what they're getting towards here. So I think if implemented well, it could be brilliant. If implemented poorly, it could suck booty cheeks, but we will see. I'm going to try to be hopeful on it. I did ask specifically to the developers to explain this in a little more detail. Let me read it through with you, and then I'll read what they wrote me. So we're getting a new arena season. There's going to be a brand new major tag mode that's currently being planned. Unleash strategic diversity in arena. Tags are not tied to specific factions or heroes, emphasizing strategic synergy with the overall team. No one-size-fits-all builds, enabling countless team comps to thrive with new tag mode. So they're saying no faction, no specific heroes. I was thinking it'd be something like, if you think of Void Rift, where they're like, this class is buffed, or this faction is buffed, and these are nerfed, or there's a penalty against these one for this week. And I think that would be very powerful in Arena. Is everyone going to use Valara if it's minus 50% for esotericists and arbiters that week? Maybe she's that good, but a lot less at least. And it would make it feel less stale. So I wasn't exactly sure what they meant by this, so I did ask them, and they said, most likely each season will feature a tag theme. Each challenge will have slight variations based on this tag theme. For example, applying a specific effect to heroes. The way these effects are applied may differ slightly from raid to raid or arena battle to arena battle. Tag effects are not limited to buffs or debuffs. Some effects are neutral, strengthening certain types of heroes while weakening others. This encourages players to adapt their lineups based on their understanding of how the tags interact with their teams. I can't tell if they're just going to randomly place tags on our team at the start of the battle, or if we have a choice of tags to place on heroes. It's not exactly clear to me, but I do think their head's in the right place. I gotta say, off the bat, one thing I think they're off on is the fact that this is going to be seasonal. Arena seasons are very, very long. I think that's the wrong way to approach this. If they want to keep Arena fresh and have people like me playing it all the time and making content, and having people like you playing it every day and engaging with their game, and I'm sure falling in love with the game and spending a bunch of money, right? That's the goal for them. I think they need to make it fresh, which is like every 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks it cycles, not every 8 weeks or 12 weeks, whatever it's going to end up being. I think there's potential. We'll leave it at that. Let's continue on now to the next thing. They squeezed a lot on this page, a lot of more contents. You can see that's the section, more contents. I would have called it more content, but they squeezed a lot onto this page. We are getting a new faction trial milestone. So, we're getting some factions where their faction trials are being expanded to, it was originally stage 15, and now a lot are going to stage 18. They are saying within Q1 of this year, so by the end of March, I guess, all the faction trials will be extended to stage 18. They're also upgrading the rewards. I do not know if this refers to the achievements and the rewards when you click on your avatar and you can claim stuff, or if it's the actual rewards on the bottom of the page in faction trials as you earn more and more stars, right? So I think it's the latter, but we will see. But hey, upgraded rewards, that's good. All the faction trials getting expanded properly to 18, very good. They are also adding a brand new campaign, Chapter 11. That's pretty exciting. That's long overdue. Very curious what the rewards for that are going to be like. I feel like the rewards for Chapter 9 and Chapter 10 were not very good. So hopefully this is very generous. We've been waiting for a while. And they are also adding challenging new Immortal Codex bosses. I think Immortal Codex used to be an incredible piece of content, and that was when they were introducing new bosses and new challenges all the time. Now I do think it's grown stale. I mean, was the last new one the one where the people are going side to side? I can't even remember what it's called. There's is it like the Kriya boss, the Mother of Crows? There you go, Mother of Crows. Was that the last new one? I think so. The last entirely fresh new one, that was almost a year ago. This is something they teased during the dev interview over the summer. This is called the sweep system. I gotta just put myself small in the middle. I think that's what we're doing here. This is called the sweep system, and basically you can earn sweep tickets to quick clear content. Not speed it up, but instantly clear it. So with these sweep tickets, and they're expecting these will be released in the first half of 2026, you will instantly clear 3-star completed raids, which obviously greatly reduces the farming time. So instead of waiting, whatever it is, if you've got it on a background battle at 3.5x speed instead of waiting for a 324 run or a 218 run or a 221 run. Instead of waiting if it's at 3.5x speed, the 1 minute, 1.5 minute for it to farm, maybe 2 minutes, it's just boom, done. So these will be a limited thing, these sweep tickets, but when you've got them, you can instantly use them and instantly clear that content and get the rewards right away. So another great time save. I think when it comes to time saves and respecting players' time, Moondawn and Watcher Realms, that's one of the things they absolutely excel at. Compared to other games in the genre, it's pretty excellent. So where will these be available to use? Well, they're saying campaign stages, promotion raids, resource raids, gear raids, artifact material raids, faction trials, and more. I'm assuming the more refers to gear dungeons. It's also possible here that they're saying where are these available to be earned? That's not how I'm reading this. I think it's where are these available to be used? How will we earn them? I don't know. Will they be strictly pay to win? I hope not. At least not entirely. Let's look at Malrik's Halls of Illusion. New keystones will be added to brand new gems, expanding strategic depth. We just got that with the Molten Obsidian. New keystones paired with new stages featuring higher challenge variety, requiring more flexible team adjustments. I guess not just a bunch of tacticians. And then finally, increase the drop quantity of existing gems with more gem types to be explored in the future. Sounds promising, sounds good enough. Malrik is the most essential content for growing your account out of the mid game into the late game, or certainly late game to end game. It really takes everything to the next level. You know, I've been on a lot of younger accounts lately, and I'm just shocked by their progress. It kind of makes me want to start a new account just because Malrik supercharges your account, and it's just so essential. The new background battles in Malrik are phenomenal too as a time save. This probably was the singular best thing they did in 2025. Malrik's Halls of Illusion, and they're going to keep expanding it. Very good. Next up, we're getting new Demon Soldier gameplay. So if you hate GVG, don't turn off right now, because actually this will not be GVG. I think basically the developers have noticed how many players actually really enjoy GVG. Not all players, obviously not all players. I think part of that reason, and I'll tell you, for me, as someone who doesn't really enjoy it, one of the coolest things about it is going to be the Demon Soldiers. So they're saying, wow, maybe we can find new ways for people to engage, for players to engage with these kind of units, these kind of characters, these demon soldiers. If you remember that Demonic Crusade, it always said there was more coming. So that's one direction they might take it. These specific gameplay details are still in development, but they're saying by mid-2026, the middle of this year, maybe this summer, they might go in direction one. They're going to expand the Demonic Crusade style mode, focus on fun and accessibility for more players. I loved Demonic Crusade. I was like a month late to it, so I never made a video. I did stream it though, and I knocked it out in one stream. It really felt like tremendous tower defense problem solving. Maybe I'll go back and make a guide, make a video at this point, because it's been long enough. But I think that'd be an amazing direction. Direction number two, they're saying, is a solo PvP mode for Demon Soldiers, similar to Arena. This is going to be a hero-based defense plus Demon Soldier offense. So I think this will be very similar to GVG, but instead of like you're part of your guild doing attacks against towers that are in another guild and vice versa, it's just going to be like you set up your individual bastion you're defending with your heroes, and other people do the same, and then you're engaging in like a PvP, you know, realm, kind of like we do in Arena, where you click on one and you attack it with your Demon Soldiers. Could be pretty fresh, could be very similar to GVG. So I'm more interested in direction one, but hey, let's do both directions maybe. I think I prefer direction one though. Now for GVG specifically, we're getting new Demon Soldier factions. This is all over the first half of 2026. We did already just get one with the Bloodspring guys, so that'll be interesting to see how hard those guys are to get. They're saying they plan the release of 2 to 3 new factions, so we'll get at least 1 to 2 more. They also are saying they're improving the matchmaking experience, reducing cases of frequently matching against the same guild and intentional losses and point feeding issues. I'll believe those fixes when I see it. That's been an issue forever now. Let's go to the next bit. We've got the exclusive artifact rate up. That's actually coming this week. Basically, they're going to have these moments where you'll get a boosted chance to get exclusive artifacts from either the Titan Forge or the Wisdom Forge. Maybe eventually this would expand to the exclusive Forge, but we're getting that with a Titan exclusive artifact rate up this coming week. But we are getting that this week in the Titan Forge. So there's going to be a rate up, so an increased chance on one exclusive artifact from the Titan Forge, and you get to choose. There's going to be some selection, and you get to choose. They're also making changes to gear. They are going to optimize and strengthen exclusive gear. So maybe they're going to change the effects or buff the effects of existing exclusive gear. Also, they're going to create exclusive gear. They wrote fear, but they mean gear for high value heroes, and they will improve attribute stability on dropped gear. So with this create exclusive gear for high value heroes, I kind of get the sense they might want player input. So if there are heroes you really want to see get exclusive gear that currently do not have it, let us know in the comment section below. But all in all, seems pretty solid. This catches my eye the most, improving attribute stability on dropped gear. So is this meaning we're going to get relevant substats more frequently in the secondary attributes? Does this mean they're going to roll a little better, or at least not roll horribly all the time? We shall see. Next up, we're getting a new team. So when they say team, we've got like the Northerners have the shield team, and the cultists have the summoner team, and the esotericists have the poison team. They like to roll out new units that synergize together as part of like a singular team or team comp, basically. So in this way, we're getting unique combat styles. They're going to be distinct from the current Main Street combat pacing, and they are highlighting the Infernal Blast. So in the Infernal Blast, we're going to get a new lord, a new team, and a new play style. So the best example of this from 2025 was with the Esotericists. We got Nastia, a new lord, the third legendary lord from the Esotericists. We got a new team, the Poison team, and a new play style. Burst damage through popping a bunch of poisons when you put Nastia with Numera and Vorn. Or maybe Vixera, Numera, Vorn, right? Very interesting stuff. Very curious about this. Wondering what this will do to Soul Caiden's relevance. I am wondering if this new lord will power creep Soul Caidens, and I'm wondering what it will do to his relevance. All right, next up, this is a big one. We're getting new lords for the Chaos Dominion and the Supreme Arbiters. For the Supreme Arbiters in particular, this is long overdue. Kratos has been the only legendary lord in the Supreme Arbiters since the Arbiter faction's arrival in the game, right? Since it entered Watcher of Realms. So that's going to be huge. Sounds like we're also going to get a third chaotic legendary lord. They don't say legendary, but I'm assuming these guys are going to be legendary. Balderon is slightly power crept at the moment. He's still really, really good in single target arena. He's still a phenomenal progression carry. But if they're going to introduce like the Ezerith of the Chaos Order, so like what Ezerith did to make the other two cultist lords so much less desirable, if they're going to do that to Chaos, I think a lot of Valderon owners are going to be upset. Maybe Valderon's going to need a mini buff to balance that out. But that's pretty exciting. Finally, of course, they're going to have existing hero improvements. They're going to enhance heroes' signature mechanics. That sounds great. And they will create more opportunities for heroes to be viable in battle. You can see over here, they're highlighting a couple heroes with a green arrow up. So it seems like they're going to buff and rework these units. Cassiel needs it desperately. His kit actually doesn't make that much sense. He's not bad, but he's certainly not good. Ajax has frankly just been power crept, so a buff to Ajax would go a very long way. And then obviously Gone, again, not bad at all, but not a fully realized kit. But definitely, he has now kind of entered into the weaker half of the Ancient Exclusive Legendary Lords. So those three at least should be getting some kind of rework. Now, new heroes. I can show you a lot of designs. This is pretty cool. Remember now, all of these names and stuff, they can still be changed, but this one caught my eye more than anyone else, so it makes sense they're leading with her. I think this is so exciting. So maybe you're noticing what I'm noticing. It's kind of hard to miss. She's floating here. She's got her big tatas out. Cool. But look at these words around her. These are going to be the 7 deadly sins, and there's a couple really important things to focus on. The first one's obvious. A lot of these are already units in the game. Greed, gluttony, lust, wrath. Now, we've always been missing envy, sloth, and pride. A lot of times we thought arrogance was pride, and it was like a mistranslation or something, but they're writing pride here, which makes me think they know what pride is, and it wasn't a mistranslation. Well, obviously they know what pride is, but you know what I mean. It wasn't a mistranslation, so maybe we're going to get a hero named Pride. And I always speculated since we started playing we would get the units Envy and Sloth. So do we have 3 more 7 Deadly Sin characters coming out? That would be awesome. The other thing is these names are surrounding her. So is she the Lord of the 7 Deadly Sins? So is she going to be a new Nightmare Lord? Or maybe is she the new Chaotic Lord and she also has Nightmare dual faction membership? That would get me going. That is really cool. You can see a breakdown of more visual assets here. Her crazy, floating, fiery, throne. It kind of looks like a mechanical fiery heart to me, like an anatomical heart. She's very naked. I know some of you are going to love that. She's very on fire. That's pretty cool. If we look at her inspiration, it's going to be Diablo and Moros. The character tags, they're saying she's a female demon. She's all about temptation and danger. And here we've got a little breakdown of some visual highlights. A very cool character. Next up, we've got this kind of mech cyberpunk angle when it comes to this unit over here. This immediately caught my eye. You can see this quote, anomaly detected, outcome unknown. That was said by Setrum. Setrum, if you guys don't know, is one of my absolute favorite designs in the entire game. I really love that mech style, that automaton thing we get with Setrum. It's phenomenal. So if she's going to play into the Setrum lore and we're going to get more units like this, that's very cool. Also, looking at that giant kind of berserker gun on her arm makes me think, could she fit into the new faction? Could that launch missiles all over the map? That would be very, very, very cool. If we look at the inspiration, they're saying gynoid. I honestly don't know what that is, but it sounds like a medical condition. The character tags, we've got steampunk, gearhead, magical gems. I love it. Another breakdown of the visual highlights, another breakdown of the visual assets. I think this unit's really cool. She looks like she's going to be a favorite for a lot of players potentially. Now we've got a previously teased unit, and they're fleshing it out even more. I have a theory about this, and I think you guys might agree with it. If I move myself out of the way so you can see everything, I'll keep myself teeny tiny. We have got the Painter. So they teased him in the summer dev interview. Very, very cool design, inspired by like Picasso, they said, and watercolors. This is a very, very nice thing. They're already telling us his factions. He's going to be Chaos and Cultist. That's very nice. I think this design is brilliant. And now he's got almost certainly a partner, the Paintress. So the Painter and the Paintress, very likely they're going to have a partner bond skill. And if you look at this combination of factions, I think it is very likely we've got a limited and an ancient exclusive pairing on our hands. I'm kind of thinking Valentine's Day. They say coming soon over here. Typically, when we see these pairings, we're going to have a limited who's going to be normal, right? Not ancient exclusive. So 2 normal factions here, cultists and esotericists. And then we've got an ancient exclusive who's the bond skill. And sometimes they share a faction. So cultists, right? And then we've got over here an ancient exclusive faction. So think of Moradin and Valara, right? With Moradin, we had a normal guy, right? Who was a limited. Very good unit, but a normal unit that you can summon with rare summoning crystals and diamonds. He had Nightmare faction and he had Esotericist, and then we got Valara, who had Arbiter, Ancient Exclusive, and Esotericist. So that's kind of the parallel. I think this could be the Valentine's Day event, and I think that would be a home run. I hope, Moonton, I'm talking to you now, you make a million ads about it. Let's bring new players to the game. So now we've got a long guessing game that the devs have prepared for us. We're getting new heroes and we're going to guess stuff about them. So please light up the comments. Let's have some fun. If you win, maybe we'll think of a prize. If you got a prize suggestion, let me know too. So this new guy, guess which faction he belongs to. He is this giant warrior covered in chains and super thick armor. We've got this glowing blue aura. We've got a crown on the floor over here connected by a chain, it looks like. Huge face on a huge shield. I feel like this guy's got to be a cultist, maybe an esotericist, but to me, I'm getting cultist vibes. He looks very cool. You can see all the specific visual assets here. The designs in this game are phenomenal. Now we got another new hero. Let's guess which faction she belongs to. She looks like she could be like Chaos, right? Could this be the new Chaos Lord potentially? Also, maybe could be an esotericist. We've seen similar designs in the past. Got the flowing black and red gown. Very cool crown. The eyes are covered. We see that a lot in this game. I don't know exactly with this one. Maybe Nightmare as well. I'm going to guess Chaotic for this one. Now I'm going to play a video for you. So here she is in all her glory, spinning around. She's probably coming soon, right? If they've already got... This is like more than an A-frame they've accomplished here. She looks basically fully rendered. So I think she's probably coming soon. Looks very cool. Maybe she's of the new faction. Could this be a new faction banner that she's like wielding? I don't know. That'd be really, really, really neat. Let's continue on to the next. Let's guess the faction of this guy. Without the color, it's kind of hard to see. Maybe you can pause and look. It's kind of an old guy with very like skinny tree-like arms, it looks like. He's into this giant throne here. He's got the horns coming off of it. Really not sure. I'm going to guess maybe cultist again. It's without the colors, it's very hard to tell. Now we got new heroes. They're all blacked out. Looks like maybe this is like a phoenix on the back of someone. Huge kind of guy here, and then like a huge Balrog-looking monster. Very, very interesting. Nice little teasers. We got a new skin. Oh, this is going to be brutal. Guess who this is? I'm going to guess Lord Phineas. I don't know. The colors seem like a little off, but seems demonic, infernal, right? Face maybe a little similar. I don't know. This guy looks incredible, though. What a home run of a skin. See all these like weird like hands or souls reaching out? If you've got guesses, let me know down below. Here's another new skin. This skin is the absolute home run. When this comes out, if anyone wants to gift it to me, be my guest. I think we know who this is, unless it's going to be a new character from the same lore. To me, it's clearly Torador. This skin is gorgeous. This is a home run. Wow. I'm blown away by this. This is an incredible, incredible skin. Now we've got another one here. Actually, we got 3 more, excuse me. I can't really tell. This is maybe the new mech girl with the blue hair, right? Because it's kind of got that same berserker mech arm on her. That's going to be my guess for that. This one, I have no idea, man. These two, I have no idea. You guys guess. You use your voices, use your keyboards, type it away. Who are these two? I think this is the new mech girl, but I don't know who these two are. Now let me show you some of these skins. Ooh, we got fresh ones, brand new ones. This has to be an Arbiter. Could this be a new Praetus skin? I mean, it's giving Praetus, right? With the giant thing floating behind him, with the book, the staff. This would be way cooler than Praetus. We already have a Praetus skin, but it sucks. This would be brilliant. The celestial body, no face, with this incredible garb. Or maybe just the new Arbiter Lord. This is beautiful. This is incredible. All right, let's finish this thing off. So many cool things they shared with us here. Some other new units, and it looks like balloons on this guy's shoulders. Is this gonna be like a clown guy? Kind of looks like a pointy hat there too. That could be clowny, kind of like an ice cream cone, maybe a bouquet of flowers. I'm counting a few different arms. What if these are 2 heads, and this is another unit like Twin Fiend or Greed in terms of design? Maybe, oh, it's a skin though. Maybe this is maybe Twin Fiend is getting a clown skin. I guess I forgot these were skins. Let's actually go back. I think it is 2 heads. I think that's going to be Greed or Twin Fiend. Probably Twin Fiend. Let's go back though. You see this girl here. Could that girl, I know it's not a bow, but could that be this? I guess those are more feathers coming out of her head. I don't know. A lot of cool stuff coming. Thank you guys so much. Thank you to the developers of Watcher of Realms. Thank you to Moonton. They've included me in almost all of these they've ever done, which is very generous, at least since towards the beginning. So I always am so appreciative that I am included. I think this is really fun. Once again, I do want to apologize that I'm going to be a little bit later than some of my fellow content creators. I hope you guys understand. You know, I think I grind almost as hard as anyone, but real life occasionally gets in the way. You're still going to get your daily video at least, if not videos. But yeah, maybe I can't get it out at exactly the moment all the time I want to. But there you go. Thank you so much for all your support. Subscribe to the channel. I've been Fastidious. Thank you, Moonton, for sharing this. Thank you, developers. Share with your mother, guys, and I'll see you real soon. Bye.
Fastidious.